Palma. Oh,
man.
that's unfair, man. Palma, 7 points in the game.
To Del Puentes. Delgado makes the shot and knocks it down. Malonia is open. 3-pointer. My goodness! Face a jumper by Robin Celis. Natalgero has time. Now it gets hard to Rosso. Turnaround jumper. Oh my goodness.
We continue our coverage here in the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League as we return for the second time this season dito sa Inares Sports Arena in Pasig City as we bring you the second game of our Thursday triple header, and it features two teams at opposite ends of the spectrum. Paulo Hubalde making his comeback para dito sa Cebu after missing more than a month, and he will try to lead this rebirth nitong Cebu, taking on the newest acquisition of the 15-0 Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards, Nick Demusis. And let's see how he will fare in his first game back in the MPBL. And these two squads collide in the second game. Cebu Classic kalaban ang Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. This is the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino. Ken Panglinan alongside Javi Palanya, and at courtside we have Miss Sydney Crespo. Javi in addition to Nick, JP Calvo also with Nueva Ecija. How would these two help in their championship chase this season?
Well, the strong only gets stronger, Ken, and these two guys provide a lot of intensity, especially on the defensive side. But both of these players can also score the basketball. So another both players can definitely add depth to their respective positions dito para sa Nueva Ecija.
Of course, you're watching us live on the official Facebook page and YouTube channel, and live din tayo ngayon sa Solar Sports. And Cebu playing with 7 players today, and medyo improvement yan sa last game nila wherein they only fielded in 6 players. They traveled to Palayan City and they really had a tough time going up against Batangas City in this one.
Yeah, the Classic were basically outclassed in nearly every department in this game as they allowed Batangas to shoot a blistering 55.6% from the field and making 50 field goals and 22 three-pointers. Of course, Philip Panyamogan set the league record for most three-pointers in a game by a player, outlasting that previous record by Orlan Mamar. It's just really tough to go up against a team that is determined to go back on the winning track when you only have 6 players playing. But it's gonna be just a little bit different para sa kanila today, fielding in 7 players. Pero ang maganda para sa Cebu, what's looking positive para sa kanila is they've moved past from those previous problems that they have encountered this season.
And they were in the wrong end of that record-breaking performance ng Batangas City. Ngayon, kalaban nila ang undefeated Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards, and they had arguably their toughest test as of late. Nakalaban nila to Zamboanga. They were down by 5 points heading into the last 2 minutes. But they were able to pull out the stops in the end laban dito sa Sikat.
Now, Ken, I believe this was their toughest test of the season. Itong game nila against the Zamboanga Sikat, a game which featured 8 ties and 12 lead changes. Both teams almost pareho lang naman yung naging numero nila dito. But what mattered most para sa Nueva Ecija was the fact that they were able to keep their turnovers at a maybe, I would say, allowable rate, only committing 15 turnovers and forcing Zamboanga into 21 of their own, which they converted into 22. Ito isa sa mga bagay na ginamit nila para makabalik sa game during the 4th quarter when everybody thought Zamboanga was gonna cruise away with the victory.
Alright, another South versus North matchup dito sa ating liga. It's Cebu going up against Nueva Ecija. Let's go to Miguel Pere for the starters.
MPBL Season 7. Let's meet the starters, beginning with Cebu Classic. Starting at guard, number 5, Bryle Mecca. Playing center, number 19, Ken Holmqvist. Forward, number 42, Lian Martel. Also at forward, number 55, John Hamon. And at 2 guard, number 0, the Aquaman, Paulo Hubalde. Team representative for Cebu Classic is John Santos. Here comes the starting five for the MPBL Season 4 champions, the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards Megabet. Starting at center, number 1, Jammer Hamito. Forward number 51, Big Bang Toto, Byron Villarias. Also at forward number 8, Robbie Sellers. And from the guard lines, the Twin Turbos, the Marcelino Twins of JV and JC. The head coach for the Rice Vanguards is Don Dulay. Assistant coaches, Rob Wainwright, Matt Macalintal, Arnold Oliveros, Jonathan Uiloan, Rick Sison, and James Bartolome. Assistant team manager, Jen Dignadice. Team consultant is Von Monta. Team manager, Raymond Dizon. Team owners, Ivan Cuevas, Ryan May Cuevas, and Mr. Bong Cuevas.
Starting five brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Cebu will start off with the backcourt of Brian Meca, Paulo Hubalde, up front, Ken Hombes, Lian Martel, and Jan Hamon. For Nueva Ecija, the Turber Twins, JV and JC, together with Jam Ramito, Rob Celis, and Big Bang Toto, Byron Villarias. And may technical foul lit dito, no? Against Cebu because they only have 7 players in uniform.
Yeah, this has been the trend over the last I think month and a half already para sa Cebu Classic. But, you know, I mentioned at the top of our coverage that it's been, they have been experiencing some positive changes to their management, to their ownership. So makikita natin yung mga pagbabago na yon in the next few days. But right now, dahil nga hindi pa sila nakaka-complete nung transition, ito pa muna yung mga makikita nyong players sa laro na to.
By the way, our referees for this ball game, Jay Castroverde, Ariel Arce, EJ Carase, and their fourth man is Ray Gabriel. Cebu Classic getting a stop on the first possession of Nueva Ecija, but they turn the ball over. JC Marcelino off to the races. Can't hit it, and a pushing foul called on Jammer Ramito.
Now the challenge now for Cebu in this game is how they are gonna balance and spread out their energy throughout this game. Having only 7 players on their lineup for this game, going up against a very experienced and very determined Nueva Ecija squad who doesn't look like they're gonna take a back seat in terms of their effort and energy trying to gun for their 16th straight win.
And by the way, coaching today for Cebu is Paulo Hubalde as Jammer Ramito floats it up and in to get the first field goal para dito sa Nueva Ecija.
You're right. The only guy on their bench right now is team manager John Santos. That's their new team manager right now. And Cebu will now be owned by a new team owner who's hailing from Cebu mismo.
Yeah.
He takes over the ownership reins of this squad, and I believe magbabago na rin sila na pangalan, but that's gonna happen maybe in the next few days pa.
Play of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
I expect Nueva Ecija to try and tire out this depleted Cebu roster in this game. Of course, at the front runners of that ploy will be the Twin Turbo, JC and JV.
Ubalde gets it to Bral Meca crossing the half-court line as Nueva Ecija trying to amp on the pressure. Paulo Ubalde though gets to the cup and scores.
Just able to split the defense there. Did not have control of the basketball when he received it, but still manages to get to the cup.
Get another crack at it. Jam Ramito steps back over Kem Homevis. 4 early points for Jam Ramito.
One of Nueva Ecija's key off-season acquisitions. Ito si Jam Ramito.
That's a good inside incursion from Ken Homevis. 8-4 Nueva Ecija early.
So sila na lang ni Dolan Adlawan yung magiging sentro ngayon sa game na to ng Cebu Classic. So I expect Homevis to make the most out of this opportunity and try to have a good game in this one against Nueva Ecija, although that's going to be easier said than done coming up against this loaded front line of the Rice Vanguards.
JV Marcelino scores inside the paint. Martel on the other side lays it up and in.
You could see the difference as well in the body language and the attitude as well as the energy for Cebu in this game. Dito pa lang sa umpisa, makikita mo that they don't look disgruntled at all. And in fact, they're actually trying to play with a lot more pride in this one. Trying to wear that Cebu jersey with honor.
There's a homegrown. Brian Meca whips it to Martel. When Homevis, no hesitation, left it short though from beyond the arc. Rob Celis. Martel able to disrupt him. But Nueva Ecija retains possession. Villarias can't convert at may tulak na naman na nahuli laban dito sa Nueva Ecija.
Yeah, that's gonna go against Robbie Celis. Second team foul now para sa Nueva Ecija.
Don Dulay still at the helm in his second season with the Rice Vanguards. Numbers here. Ken Homevis gets the basket plus a foul.
Good control coming from Homevis there. Martel making the right decision, dropping it off to his fellow big man on the break, drawing the foul. Ito si Ken Homevis.
Fast break of the game brought to you by Extreme X Pop, personal karaoke speaker, everyday karaoke. That one rolls through for Ken Homevis. 5 early points. 13-9. Nueva Ecija with a 4-point lead. Floater by JC. Doesn't work. JV swing pass to Byron Villarias, who cans that free.
He just needs a little space to launch that from the outside. One of the best shooters the MPBL has ever seen, Byron Villarias.
7-point lead for Nueva Ecija. Paulo Hubalde. His version of a free. And back to a 4-point lead.
I'm sure that Paulo Hubalde will have the stat sheet stuffed this game para sa Cebu. Despite him being out for the Classic for more than a month, he still has been staying in shape.
Meca though was blocked by Byron Villarias. Celis. And Hamon grabs the rebound. Homevis able to stand his ground. Ubalde on the right side against JC. Ubalde puts it up, thought he was fouled. Bral Meca offensive rebound. Hamon fades away and gets that one to trickle in.
Another sign that these Cebu guys are definitely in a much better position in this game. You can see that in previous games, ahayaan na lang nila yung loose ball na yun. They pretty much did not care at all about what the score was their past few games dahil sa mga nangyayari. But now in this game, they're really trying to keep it step with the Rice Vanguards, and I think that's the initial challenge para sa kanila so that they could give themselves a chance of winning it in the end.
Ubalde got fouled while he took that shot. So 3 free throws coming up for the Aquaman. Dolan Adlawan comes in for Lian Martel past the halfway point of the first period. Ubalde, his last game was back in May 6 against Rizal. And if you remember that game, Javi, he had a big third quarter and sat out the entire fourth.
Yeah, that was really very peculiar to me because he had 19 points in 3 quarters and did not see action at all in that final frame. And he was actually the reason why Cebu was actually able to catch up to the Golden Coolers entering the 4th quarter. And it was just weird that he did not see action anymore.
18-14 is the score. Inside, Robbie Celis, short. Cebu playing as well as they could here in the first quarter. What a bounce pass! Adlawan though was not ready to receive it. Maging siya nagulat dun.
It could have been an easy 2 points para sa Cebu in that opportunity. If you're playing with Paulo Hubalde, you better be ready every time, anytime you're on the court.
And the newest acquisition of Nueva Ecija now marks his return in the MPBL, Nick Demusis. Also played for Bacoor before. That was way back before the pandemic.
Yeah, and that was before siya nagpa-draft sa PBA where he was picked by Phoenix.
He gets that pass to Byron Villarias, issues his first assist here as a Rice Vanguard. But quickly on the other end, Dolat Adlawan with a basket.
Paolo Hubalde is just so good in transition. He sees the whole floor, and even if he's not looking at you, he can make that pass wherever you are.
Homevis towers over JV for the rebound. Brian Mecca can't finish. Forward pass, JV. Again, against Homevis. This time he wins that battle. And Homevis a bit frustrated as he gave up a basket. 3 minutes and 35 seconds left. A 7-point lead for Nueva Ecija.
Check this one out. Nice use of the deceleration right there. Galing kay JV Marcelino. Not because it doesn't mean you're fast that you can be fast all the time. Sometimes you also have to slow down.
We'll pause for a break. We'll be back.
Welcome back to the MPBL. Many would say that Nueva Ecija already has overflowing talent in their squad. But for Coach Don Dulay, it's better to be safe than sorry, as he reminded me of all of their injuries last season. He said, we have a long season and we know the physicality of this league and people can get injured along the way. And this is one of the reasons for their acquisition of Nick Demusis and JP Calvo. Since attending the practices, Coach Don admits the level of play and competitiveness has gone up, even though they already had pretty competitive practices before. That's what happens when two experienced and talented players join the team. Coach Don needs Nick's energy, athleticism, and defense, while JP is already a court general with a lot of speed and scoring ability. He said these two can easily become part of the first five, but part of what he had to tell them about the Nueva Ecija culture is this: you need to work hard for that. Ken Harris.
Maraming salamat, Sid, and certainly a welcome additions to this already stacked roster of Coach Don Dulay. And you know, if you watch Nick Demusis, he's the type of guy that, you know, if kung ano yung kailangan ng team, kaya niyang punan, Javi.
You're right. And he has no problems trying to work his way up the rotation right now para kay Coach Don Dulay. He understands that he comes in as a new recruit in the rotation of Don Dulay, already somewhere at this point of the season, but dahil nga sa kultura that Coach Don has proudly talked about this season for Nueva Ecija, it's an equal opportunity culture. So whoever is doing a good job, siya ang papasok.
LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL. And JP Calvo, if he can regain that form that he had when he played for the South Cotabato Warriors and also with the Letran Knights, man, sky's the limit para dito sa Nueva Ecija. Ryan Costello comes in for JV Marcelino. 27-16, 11-point lead para dito sa Rice Vanguards. John Hamon against Nick Demusis. Hamon crossing the timeline. Under 3 minutes left here in the first. Hubalde attacks. Can't get it to go. Ayay with a rebound. The pass to John Wilson. Slams on the bricks. Gets it back to Jesper. Inside Hamito. Demusis can't convert underneath. Hamito in there. Gets the bounce.
And this has been the key to their success. One of the keys to their success this season. Nueva Ecija, despite this being a very star-studded lineup with arguably the best talent in this season, they are still very much willing to make the right play on the court.
31-16 after that John Wilson bucket. 2 minutes left here in the first. Ubalde against Ryan Costello. Martel. Great cut from the weak side. Dolan Adlawan with a basket. Free throw coming up for Dolan Adlawan. Assist of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Nahuli doon si Nick Demusis. Trying to rotate on Dolan Adlawan. Again, credit to Lian Martel for making another good pass. Earlier we saw it. He delivered one to Ken Holmqvist right now. Letting go of that rock to find Dolan Adlawan on that left side.
31-18. 13-point lead. Jesper Ayaay. The layup does not go. Ubalde whips a pass to Mark Meneses, who can say free from the left corner.
That three-point shot, especially from the corners, has improved dramatically for Mark Meneses this season.
Shot will not work. Demusis able to send it to Clark Derrigue. Wilson is open. Can't get it to go. Costello giving them another crack at it. Costello against Ubalde. Bola mananatili sa panig ng Nueva Ecija. 3-point shot of the game, and it's atin yan ng Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances. This was that free earlier by Mark Meneses. And a stop by Cebu. Just down by 10, 31-21, a chance to trim this down to single digits. Paulo Ubalde against Ryan Costello. Adlawan rolls, lays it up and in. Great two-man game between Ubalde and Adlawan.
Empty corner, ball screen. Paulo Ubalde, he's done that 1,000 times in his career. Adlawan making that good roll to the rack of that magnificent bounce pass thrown by the Aquaman.
Costello, short. 16 seconds left. Adlawan, susugod. Nakakuha ng foul. And 2 more free throws coming up.
Ubalde was actually asking for it. Tried to go for the final shot, but Adlawan had other things in mind. Here though, synergizing well with each other of the two-man game. Adlawan with that basket. He hasn't been doing well from the free throw line though so far here in the first quarter.
9 seconds remaining. Dolan Adlawan. Athletic forward para dito sa Cebu. That dunk that made the top 10 place. 31-24, 7-point lead. Costello crossover, sidestep, floater, will not work. First quarter comes to a close. And Cebu just within striking distance, actually finishing this quarter on a 7-0 run to cut this lead down to 7.
Martel started this game and dished out a couple of good assists. One to Ken Holmqvist and another one to Dolan Adlawan later in the quarter. Villarias, though, he heated up for Nueva Ecija, scoring on a number of threes in that first quarter. But when the Rice Vanguards also put on the heat in transition, medyo nakalayo sila dito and they were able to establish a double-digit lead. But Cebu ending the quarter strong, down only by 7.
Demusis so far had an assist in the first quarter. Paulo Ubalde doing a great job quarterbacking para dito sa Cebu. And they're just down by 7. Special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer. Second quarter on the way here between Cebu and Nueva Ecija.
Second quarter.
Ubalde against Costello. Now turns around. Ubalde forcing it up and in.
That was a tough look, even for him. But still able to fight through that contact, bringing that ball up and in off the bank.
5 lang ang lamang. Costello continues to misfire from the outside. Demusis emphatically bouncing it off Lian Martel.
And despite the taller lineup, Nueva Ecija only out-rebounding Cebu just by 3 here in this game.
Costello tries another one. That one finally rolls out and in for his first 3-point conversion.
A little homecoming of sorts for former Pasig City star player Ryan Costello. He's played in this venue a bunch of times during his stint with Pasig.
Played his best season here with Pasig City. Ito si Ryan Costello. Derrigue. Balik kay Demusis. Ariaay, sasalaksak sa loob. He lost control of it on his way up. Ball will go back to Cebu.
The defense of Cebu really turning up a notch in this game compared to those past matches that they had.
JP Calvo making his entry para dito sa Nueva Ecija. He's tasked to guard Paulo Ubalde. 8-point lead, 34-26. Martel thought about it. Hamon jacks up a free, short. Ayaay, forward pass. Calvo in transition. Got blocked by Jan Hamon. May pabaon pang stare down doon si Jan Hamon. As Martel barrels through the lane. And a foul called on Nueva Ecija. And they will review this one.
I don't really think that should have been an unsportsmanlike foul. But there indeed was a hold down. Didn't even need to review it anymore. Well, wala rin nga namang play on the basketball, pero for me, I thought it was just enough for him to try and stop Martel from getting a 3-point play opportunity. But of course, our referees know better.
Yeah. Criteria 2, excessive hard contact. That was the reason for that unsportsmanlike foul call. Yan Martel at the line. Former Paranaque Patriot knocks down the first. This free throw brought to you by Extreme, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Martel gets the friendly bounce on the second. 4 points. Tosi Tancinco now in for the Rice Vanguards. Adlawan almost lost it. Martel spins inside. Wow, what an impressive take from Lian Martel.
Timed that flash very well. He saw that itong si Adlawan was being pressured. Ubalde could not get a hand on the basketball. So he was the pressure release near that free throw line and attacked that defense very aggressively, getting it off the spin.
Martel, now he tries a three. That's too strong. Ball ends up with John Wilson. 2 minutes gone by. Pretty eventful second quarter already. John Wilson casually drains in a three-pointer.
Trailing the play there, and nobody really in front of him except for that effort on that late closeout by Cebu. I think that was Martel who tried to get in front of him, but Wilson already primed for the shot.
7-point lead, Jan Hamon. Ubalde. Calvo committing that foul.
Well, that's gonna be a tough cover para kay JP Calvo.
Sixer, great move of the game, born for greatness.
Martel with that powerful pirouette and an even more powerful finish coming from the former Parañaque Patriot.
So free throws coming up for Paulo Hubalde. He struggled at the line though. Oh, out of 4.
Against Rizal.
And only 60%. 37-31. 6-point lead para dito sa Nueva Ecija. JP Calvo. Lalapit. Lalabas papunta kay Demusis. Wilson. Traveled. No, actually a double dribble against John Wilson.
And the goal for Cebu now is really to make it difficult para sa Nueva Ecija defensively. They're shifting zones. Sometimes it's a 2-3, sometimes it's a 1-3-1 to try and keep Nueva Ecija guessing.
Martel for 3 off the mark. Demusis with a running start. Gives it to Jesper Ayaay. Calvo opted not to take that free. They swing the ball around. Jesper Ayaay to a cutting Tosi Tancinco. Basket and 1. Chance for a 3-point play para dito kay Tosi Tancinco.
Little give and go action there between him and Jesper Ayaay. Tancinco making that hard cut towards the basket and finishing through the contact.
Tosi, an 84.6% free throw shooter, comes down that one.
Highly dependable on the free throw line. Ever since. That has been one of his strengths. Itong si Tosi Tancinco.
40-31. 9-point lead. Meneses will bring the ball down against John Wilson. Not his strong suit, but got bailed out by that John Wilson foul.
Definitely a bailout. I was even surprised na iniwan niya siya para magbaba pa ng bola doon.
Now they deny Paulo Hubalde. Now he gets it back against JP Calvo again. Hubalde. Now facing a double team. Release pass to Lian Martel. Free is Jan Hamon for a free. Finally knocks that one down.
Despite the heavy pressure, Cebu just finding a way to hit the open man.
And you're right, Javi. Yung demeanor nitong Cebu ngayon, no, as Demusis finally makes his first field goal here as a Rice Vanguard via a three-pointer.
Well, that's a notice to the rest of the league that, hey guys, I'm back and I can actually score.
Martel gets the putback. 8 points for Lian Martel. Tancinco lines it up. No good. And Cebu getting a stop. 5 minutes and 28 seconds left. Just a 7-point lead for Nueva Ecija. It's Demusis with that free. Ubalde catching it at the elbow. Posting up. Fadeaway jumper over JP Calvo is pure. First guy in double fingers for Cebu with 10 points to go along with his 7 assists. Tancinco inside. Demusis tries another free. Back-to-back threes for Nick Demusis.
I love how he's just picking his spots and not really primarily looking for his shot, as we see the better half of Nick Demusis, Miss Riza Diaz in attendance. He's just letting the game come to him. He's being very patient, but at the same time, he's providing that energy on the defensive end as well.
Mouse in the house. Ubalde was fouled by JP Calvo.
he's gonna try to will this Cebu team to make this a competitive one. Ito si Paolo Hubalde.
3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
2 3-point shots already in this game for the returning Nick Demusis.
Paolo Hubalde came in averaging around 8 points. Knocks down the first free throw.
Oh, medyo malaking kawalan do yung mga mintis sa free throw nitong Cebu sa laro na to. They're now 5 out of 15 after those 2 misses by the Aquaman.
1 out of 7 at the line. Ito si Paolo Hubalde. Calvo has yet to take a shot. Opting to pass it off to Jammer Amito, who scores.
That guy's taken a lot. And he scored a lot also so far for Nueva Ecija in this game to make this a 10-point lead again.
Double-digit spread. JV Marcelino gets the steal and the basket. And Cebu using their timeout as they try to stymie this uprising nitong Nueva Ecija. Fast break of the game is brought to you by Extreme X Play. On the go speaker, take your music anywhere.
One of the best at forcing turnovers and converting it into points in the league. That time, JV Marcelino doing what he does best para sa Rice Vanguards.
12-point lead for Nueva Ecija, 50-38.
An opportunity came to compete for a championship with Nueva Ecija, so wanted to take advantage of that and come back to where I started in MPBL here. So I played for Bacoor first, season 3, before the pandemic. Yes, I'm excited, very excited. Actually, fun fact, my first game in MPBL with Bacoor was against Nueva Ecija. So it's like a full kind of circle thing going on.
Yeah, it's been a welcome sight for Nick Demusis as he hit both of his threes for 6 points. And for more on Nick, let's go to Miss Sydney Crespo.
In Coach Don Dulay's own words, Zamboanga is legit. He tells me that the young squad of Coach Egay and Coach Bong deserves to win that game. Yan rin ang sinabi ni Robbie Celi sa akin. Nakita talaga nila yung magandang sistema ng Zamboanga despite being younger than their own core. Napagod daw siya sa sobrang physical ng game at sa effort ng Zamboanga. Pag uwi niya, dun niya daw nakita na marami pala siyang pasa at kalmot sa katawan. Si JC naman was very grateful na makaharap yung team na kung saan sila nagsimula. Nakakapagod daw yung depensa nila kay JC kasi pag dumipensa, buong team talaga. Coach Don emphasized that they are not focusing on the 15-0. Wala ring celebration. Nueva Ecija has a bigger goal this season. Ken Javi?
Maraming salamat, Sid. And she was actually talking about that game of Nueva Ecija against Zamboanga where, like Javi mentioned, a lot of lead changes, a lot of ties. Nasubukan nga yung Nueva Ecija doon. And, Zamboanga made that run for their money there as kaya nga nang binanggit din ni Coach Don Dulay. Not resting on their laurels, because they know that other teams are coming up and they have reloaded with guys like Nick Demusis and JP Calvo. Foul though against JV Marcelino on that Dolan Adrawan drive.
And I'm sure they're looking at this game no differently, considering how much it would mean for Cebu, especially with what they've been through this season, to actually be the first ones to pin a defeat on Nueva Ecija this year.
Oh yeah, that would be quite ironic. Coach Don Dulay, champion coach back in season 3. Doon din pala naglaro si Nick Demusis for Bacoor in that third season. We have a timeout by Nueva Ecija as that lead has been chopped down to 6:50-44. JV Marcelino in that last game against Zamboanga. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Double-double performance. Shot efficiently at 62.5% and hit 2 of 4 threes.
Definitely a good outing for his first foray as Nueva Ecia's new main point guard. Ito si JV Marcelino.
50-44, 6-point lead. The starters have come back in for Nueva Ecija. But Cebu getting a stop and a foul. Penalty na ang Nueva Ecija. Free throws coming up for Cebu.
Nueva Ecija is just lucky that Cebu has been missing a lot of their free throws here in the first half. 6 out of 17. This game would have been so much different if kahit kalahati doon sa mga mintis ng Cebu sa free throw line ay pumasok sana.
Si Dolan natatawa na lang as he headed to the line. Ayun, nakapasok ng isa.
Dahil sila ni Paulo yata ang may pinakamaraming attempts dito.
Yeah, 3 out of 6 for Dolan Adlawan. Missing the second. Just 7 out of 19, but despite all that, down by just 5. Rob Celis, Adlawan with a block. JC strides to the lane, can't convert. Mark Meneses clears it for Cebu. Ubalde for free, yes sir!
You see it in his eyes, Ken. He is gonna do everything in his power. The Aquaman with a booming three-point shot.
2-point lead. Ubalde has 15 points and 8 assists. JV runs into traffic. 2 seconds remaining. Celis momentarily escaping but can't finish. Ubalde. Skip pass to Mark Meneses who tries his 3-point shot. No good. Meneses cuts inside. What a pass from Ken Holmvis.
Holmvis may still be, to most eyes, kind of a raw talent that still can be developed more, but he definitely has a lot of good foundations in his game.
Ooh. Adlawan hit the deck as well as JV Marcelino.
Even our ad board hit the deck too.
Yeah. Tabla na tayo 50 all.
See what happened there. Hamito went for that loose ball. Sa pala nagpahulog dun sa A-board natin on that baseline. But JV, despite his height, still really not afraid to mix it up with the guys inside, the taller guys inside the paint.
And referees reviewing this one. Cebu has yet to taste the lead in this ball game. Biggest lead of Nueva Ecija was at 15 points earlier. Baseline inbound for the Rice Vanguards. A minute and 12 left here in the second period. Celis. Hamito too strong. And now a chance for the Cebu Classic to take the lead here. Oh, but Ubalde turns it over. Oh, and he's down. Not sure what hit him. Was it his knee?
Well, let's hope it's nothing serious, and we hope that it's gonna be just enough to get him back into the game, because he's gonna be a big loss if mawawala siya dito para sa Cebu. He has really been carrying this team on his back.
Let's see what happened here.
He was trying to set up the screen here against JC Marcelino. That's why he went that way first. Ooh. I think it might be a calf strain.
Yeah, man. That's tough. Now he's limping to the bench.
You know, I think it might be something in the calf, or
Villarias this time draws closer and drills in that mid-range jumper. Last shot time if you're Cebu. Ooh, and they had trouble inbounding the basketball. They give the possession right back to Nueva Ecija.
This is just where it all might change para sa Cebu. Oh!
Emphatic rejection by Mark Meneses. At Lawan, just out of control, tried to get it to Brian Mecca.
Medyo late na rin yung pasa. He should have gone earlier to Mecca.
JC spins around Brian Mecca. And that's gonna do it here in the first half. And despite being undermanned, and you know, Cebu trying to issue their rebirth here and giving Nueva Ecija a run for their money here in the first 2 quarters.
But the Twins really playing good on both sides, particularly JV Marcelino, who has grown out of the shadow of his brother this season. In this particular game, 11 points already para sa kanya, but Nueva Ecija only up by 2 at the half.
But who tapped that to him? James Una tapped it to him.
Sumang against JC Marcelino. Sumang leads it and scores! 3-point lead, Zamboanga.
He's definitely playing with a different kind of resolve right now.
Oh, now with a block on Celis.
Tinitake na namin as a family yung ginagawa namin. Kasi mas parang matatagal kami magkasama kaysa sa pamilya namin. Sipin mo, parang almost 3 hours pag-uwi namin, tutulog. Kakain na lang din kami kasi pagod na. So, medyo may time kami magkakasama. Nagiging maganda yung sama namin sa team kasi sila Coach Egay din, sila Coach Bong. Parang sobrang hands-on nila sa amin.
Sumang finds Mosqueda. What a pass! Chino scores! Plus the foul!
Oh my goodness!
And this Coliseum is shell-shocked.
Unbelievable poise being exhibited down the stretch here in this nail-biter of a game.
First of all, sa defense talaga namin. Mas nag-focus kami doon and for ilang araw yun, parang 3 days ata namin trinabaho yun talaga yung depensa. Pinagandaan namin sila kasi grabe yung offense sila lalo na sa loob ng paint, doon sila malakas, tsaka sa fast break. So yun yung mga ginawa namin ngayong game namin sa kanila. Talagang nagkaroon lang ng lapses din nung last seconds.
Who do they go to? They go to the captain, Robbie Celis. Backing down, Una. Nice fake, Robbie. Block. Robles inside. Shot clock down to 10. Marcelino to Robles, who's blocked again. Ball is loose. Kawilan has it. A foul. Sumang is in pain, but there was a lot of contact dito sa kabila.
Ganun talaga sa top game, you know. Alam mo naman yung Nueva talaga hindi rin sila papatalo hanggat di pa nagbabuzzer. So ayun, siguro wala naman excuse. Wala ako dapat excuse. Siguro part of the game naman yung nangyari sa akin. Wala akong masabi. Great team talaga yung kalaban namin. Hindi kami pwedeng maging ganun siguro sa mga next game namin.
Pinapahirapan ni Toto Villarias. Chino trying to regain control. Oh, he runs into the scorer's table, but a lot of contact there.
Yes, there was a lot of grabbing there. Galing kay Villarias, but our referees
And our table of it, our table personnel there. A victory. Macaloni will drive. Basket plus the foul. And a chance to tie the game with 6.5 seconds left. Big-time players making big-time plays para sa Nueva Ecija.
Mas maging composed kami sa mga plays na last seconds, ganyan. Sa mga, yung mga crunch time. So, ayun. Nandun naman kami. Na-stop namin sila bandang huli. Yung huli lang talaga yung, hindi na box out si Celis. So, talagang ibibigay ni Lord kung kanino talaga. So binigay sa kanila, ang gagawin lang namin is mag-improve, bumawi, focus kami sa next game namin.
He misses. Macalone gets the rebound. Macalone blocked. Celes in. Nueva Ecija takes the lead. 2.3 seconds remaining. The captain delivers once again.
Dami naming chance. Wala, ganun talaga eh. Credits pa rin sa amin, sa teammates ko, sa mga coaches. Talaga nag-prepare kami, yun nga lang, di talaga kami nanalo. Basketball, ganun talaga, may panalo, may talo. Sa ngayon, talo kami. Next game, bawi na lang.
They free up Kawina and a steal by Robles. And that will do it. Nueva Ecija prevails by the skin of their teeth against a gritty Zamboanga team.
At the half, just a 2-point lead for Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards over Cebu, 52-50. And even though Cebu has never led here in the first 2 quarters, they were able to put out a performance here worthy of going up against the undefeated Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. They trailed by as many as 15 points, but they made their push here in the second quarter behind the strong performance of Paulo Hubalde.
Yeah, and they were able to make up for their poor field goal shooting with the amount of threes that they were able to make, as well as the number of free throws that they attempted. Di nyo yan makikita sa screens ninyo. But Cebu was able to attempt 19 free throws. Kaya lang, 7 lang yung na-shoot nila. So imagine mo kung most of the misses that they had in that first half could have been makes, then Cebu might even be in the lead at this point. Those 12 turnovers might be a little bit of what we expected coming from Cebu. Siyempre, si Hubalde lang ang main point guard nila ngayon and only true point guard in their roster right now in Nueva Ecija. Only turning the ball over 5 times in this game. Cebu's just really trying to help spread out their energy throughout the game para di sila maubusan. They just want to keep in step with Nueva Ecija, give themselves a chance. But the real question is, can Paulo Hubalde return in the second half after that injury?
15 points to lead away for Cebu sa Pantala. For Nueva Ecija, Byron Villarreal with 12 points. JV Marcelino with 11 markers. And you're right, because just 7 players for Cebu. And that injury by Paulo Hubalde, we're not seeing him on the floor or even on the bench right now para dito sa Cebu. And we'll probably hear from Sid later on yung status currently nito ni Paulo Hubalde. And very important because now, like you said, no natural point guard on the floor for Cebu. Although, Nueva Ecija starts off the quarter with a turnover. Martel to Braille Meca. Inside Ken Holmvis. Over Nick Demusis, short. Rob Celis will bring the ball down after grabbing the rebound. Celis, Demusis, kick out pass, Kenneth Mocon for free, no good. Rob Celis, namitas lang ng bunga. Gets that basket plus a foul.
Coach Don Dulay has managed to use almost all of his players already in this game as he fielded Kenneth Mocon to start the second half. But here after the miss by Mocon, Celis, always very reliable on the offensive glass, having an end-one opportunity here for Nueva Ecija.
55-50 after that free throw make. Lian Martel puts it on the deck. Another turnover. Nueva Ecija in transition. Ball will stay with the Rice Vanguards. And Nueva Ecija so far has scored 18 points off the 12 turnovers in the first half by Cebu. Rob Celis can't get it to go. Martel with a rebound. Braille Meca gives it up to Mark Meneses against Nick Demusis. Meneses, Holmvis catch and shoot, short. And this is gonna be the challenge baka dito sa Cebu, who will generate offense for them on that side of the floor.
Yeah, I don't think Holmvis was ready to shoot it there. Medyo nabigla pa nga yata siya dun sa pasa.
Mocon steps into a long two-pointer. 5-0 to start the third para dito sa Nueva Ecija. This was Kenneth Mocon casually making that shot up top. And the Rice Vanguards with a 7-point lead with 8 minutes and 38 seconds remaining here in the third will return after the short break. Special deal from OneXBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer. And, meanwhile, let's go to Miss Sydney Crespo.
Coach Don Dulay took less than 2 minutes to call out his Nueva Ecija players inside the dugout. His speech clearly showed frustration over their first half performance. At this point, I think we all know how Nueva Ecija holds themselves to a high standard. So being up by just 2 at the half against a 7-man Cebu team is simply not enough. He says after this game, no one's taking a break. They'll be at practice in the next 11 days. On the other hand, Paulo Hubaldo sprained his ankle earlier. Napuwersa daw niya at nasa 8 out of 10 ang pain. As of the moment, he'll try to manage the pain so he can return later. Ken, Javi?
So, Paulo Hubalde, questionable to return para dito sa Cebu. And if you notice, ang bilis nga lang nung paglabas ng Nueva Ecija after that halftime huddle. And clearly, Coach Don Dulay not happy with what he saw in the first 2 quarters.
Is one of the things that you want to avoid when you're the top team and you're going up against teams at the bottom of the team standings. You want to avoid, that was the injury earlier of Paulo Hubalde. Going back to what I was saying, if you're Nueva Ecija, you want to avoid stooping down to the play of the teams dun sa baba. Ayaw mong ma-mirror yung effort at energy na meron yung mga nakakalaban mo dun sa baba. Hayaan mo na sila dun sa mga problema nila. But kayo, you have to continue to stay at that standard of excellence, one that you've shown throughout the entire season. And the reason, probably the main reason why you are still without a loss at this point of the season.
Meneses susugod. Blocked up top by Nick Demusis. So Demusis giving Nueva Ecija a little bit of everything here in this debut. Celis, PP hit sa ilalim, kissing it off the glass and in.
7 points now in the game para kay Robbie Celis. Slowly trying to take over right now for the Rice Vanguards. That has been somewhat of a trend this season. You know, whenever Nueva Ecija should try and go on a run, Robbie Celis usually at the forefront of that.
Play of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Whatever happens in the first half, whether it's a slow start or he was able to contribute a bunch of points already, asahan mo na talagang handa si Robbie Celis na mag-contribute for Nueva Ecija in whatever way possible in the second half.
Mecca inside, not forcing it. Martel can't get it to go. Meneses back to Lian Martel, glides in, can't convert. Calvo comes away with it for Nueva Ecija. Demusis. Entry pass. Celis got blocked from behind by Dolan Adlawan. John Hamon against JP Calvo. Hamon able to fish a foul against JP Calvo.
Yeah, Calvo just could not avoid getting his hands inside the cookie jar there. Hamon absolutely baited him into committing that foul.
Former EAC General at the line. This free throw at sa atin ng Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Making good on the first free throw, Jan Hamon. That's the first point for Cebu in this quarter. And you see the free throw shooting, only 40%. 2 of 2 though by Jan Hamon. 59-52. Bounce pass, Byron Villarreal, straight away free, no good. Cebu holding Nueva Ecija to 1 shot. Martel. Brian Mecca. 12 on their shot block. Mecca. Entry pass, Martel. Not blocked. It will stay on their side. Only 4 on their shot clock.
That is the mark of a true leader. Celis recognizing the mismatch. He knew he had to help out, and he just came from where he was standing so that he could have that chance to block the shot, and that's exactly what happened.
Also what Mocon did on that Jan Hamon shot. 1 second left. Oh, great pass! Meneses though can't finish. Celis in transition. Jan Hamon got a piece of that one. And ball will go back to Cebu. Four minutes gone by in the third period. Just 7 points separating these two squads. Mecca. Calvo all over him. Hamon asking for it. Now dumps it down low to Mark Meneses, who continues to miss from point-blank range.
And that's 2 straight coming from Meneses.
Oh, the crossover, Celis. Draws a foul.
He's always been such a simple player, and that's definitely not a knock on him. It is Robbie Celis, but despite the simplicity, he still has been able to generate some great plays for himself and for his team that sometimes even end up on the highlight reel.
LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL. Missing the first free throw though, Rob Celis. Nueva Ecija has yet to create some separation here. 1 out of 2 at the line for Celis. 9 points, 6 rebounds. Martel. Release pass to Jan Hamon. Adlawan fakes, drives. Going right at Celis. Rob Celis with his second block. Ken Mocon will pull it back out. JP Calvo, his first attempt. It's good from downtown.
You could tell that he was waiting for it. Could have made the decision to just dump it off to Robbie Celis, but he saw that there was an opportunity to line up a shot. Did not hesitate one bit.
11-2 scoring run by Nueva Ecija. And a backing violation called on Cebu. This was JP Calvo stepping into a 3. His first points as a Rice Vanguard. Previously had a stint with Parañaque this season, but finding his way into a contender in the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. Mocon lobs it up to Celis. Swing past Calvo, papunta kay Byron Villarias, who can't knock down that free. He reloads and scores! He will not be denied this time. Villarias with a three-pointer.
One of the hardest shots to guard is that three-point shot off the offensive rebound. Demusis, although he's only had 6 points in this game, he has been contributing in other ways as well in this game. 8 rebounds total for Dick Demusis, plus that assist to Byron Villarias for that trifecta.
14-point lead for Nueva Ecija. Timeout Cebu. Gixxer fan of the game, born for greatness. Also a look at Miss Risa Diaz, the better half of Nick Demusis, making his debut for the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards. Later on, we'll have San Juan taking on Pasig City in our main game. Boss Bong Cuevas, a stern look as Nueva Ecija looks to create some separation here. Of course, Joe Ramos, Captain Marbel, Kenneth Duremdes, and Nueva Ecija pouring it on here. And they have outscored Cebu in this quarter by 14 points, 68-52 now, the biggest lead at 16.
Cebu's only managed 2 points here in the third quarter.
Demusis with a steal. Ken Mocon can't finish. Demusis inside. And there was a foul on Cebu.
Oh, he is just a beast on the glass in this game. Ito si Nick Demusis. This was the trap on Martel. Celis picks it up and Calvo says bye-bye. On the ensuing play, they force another turnover against Cebu, which leads to this opportunity for Demusis for 2 points at the line.
So play nga lang yung kanyang unang free throw. Paulo Balde returns gingerly on the bench.
And nabanggit kanina ni Sid na 8 out of 10 yung pain. That's pretty high and it's going to be very difficult for him to come back, and I would understand kung hindi na rin siya pabalikin dito ng kanyang team.
Again, Mr. Isa Diaz also is involved in the WMPBL.
Yes. Who I think are gonna start their new season very soon also.
Yeah, this month. Alam ko later this month yan eh. If not on the 21st, I think on the 28th. Turnover again against Cebu.
Well, those guys definitely doing a good job of putting the spotlight on the rising women bowlers here in our country.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also, when you look at the final series that they had, Nick Demusis, say it with your chest, basket and one.
He's pumped up, you could tell. And he's just very happy to be back here in the MPBL.
Assist of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Obviously, in the PBA, there are a lot more taller players, and he's primarily a guy who plays the 2 and 3 spot para sa rain or shine. But here, you could expect him to also slide up to the 4 spot, as he has been doing so far for the Rice Vanguards in this game.
Turnover again. Calvo. Oh, too strong. Demusis. Basket will be waved off as he was called for a pushing foul.
Well, Hamon did a good job of selling that. Could have been another rebound and putback para kay Nick Demusis.
3 and 13 left here in the third. Mecca, full head of steam, high off the glass, wala. Ooh, Demusis and Adlawan getting entangled. So Dolan Adlawan called for that foul. Nick Demusis heading back to the line.
For 2 free throws.
Nick Demusis averaged 8.3 points, 3.1 rebounds when he played for Bacoor back in Season 3. And was teammates with guys like Mike Cañete, Gab Banal, Mike Mabulak, Mark Pangilinan, Mark Montuano.
That was quite the team.
Yeah. And that season, they made it to the playoffs. They were second in the league at 24 and 6. Won against Jensen in the quarterfinals, but lost to Basilan. That was the Gerson Cabildes-led squad that made it all the way to the South Division Finals. But they took them to the limit. That took 3 games. As we see a turnover again committed by Cebu. Under 3 minutes left. John Wilson sets his feet but can't convert on a 3-pointer. Demusis hands it off to Calvo. Demusis, kick out pass, Mocon for 3. Gets it to go! This lead has ballooned to 24 points. It's a 24-2 quarter for the Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguards.
Nueva Ecija only averages 7 3-point makes per game, which brings you to the assumption that they don't really rely much on the three-pointer to generate offense, but when they can, they definitely have no problems about having it. Up to 10 three-pointers now in this game against Cebu at Nueva Ecija.
Cebu has yet to make a field goal here in the third. Adlawan puts it up. No good. Forward pass. Ayaay. Oh, Adlawan was called for that foul after he went for that block.
That's number 4 already against him.
So I think a couple of guys with 4 fouls already para dito sa Cebu. Or hindi, si Adlawan lang, no? So Adlawan's the one in foul trouble with 4. And, you know, itong si Ovalde, still questionable to return. So troubling times if you're the Cebu Classic. 78-52, 26-point lead. Steal here by JC. Moko on kick out. Wilson buries a triple. And Cebu no choice but to burn another timeout.
I think John Wilson has totally embraced his role here with Nueva Ecija. Sometimes it's very difficult for a former MVP, a former champion with that kind of resume as John Wilson's to just step into a supporting cast role, but he has done it wonderfully for Nueva Ecija this year.
29-point lead for the Rice Vanguards at Cebu. Sues for time. LGR, fan of the game, is brought to you by LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. 29 points lamang ng Nueva Ecija. 27-2 quarter para sa kanila.
They have under 2 minutes to try and match the lowest total in a quarter. That was 4 points.
Hamito called for that foul.
Foul on number 1, Jumper Hamito penalty, his second.
So Cebu has a chance to add on to their point total. They have yet to make a field goal here in this quarter.
Holmqvist, after a good start to this game, hasn't been able to contribute since then. He had a stretch of 5 straight points, and that was it.
$81-53. Mokon. Touch passing leads to Ayaay taking that shot. Meneses clears it for Cebu. Forward pass. Martel catches it. Hamito intercepts it, but ball will stay with Cebu. 28-point lead. Brian Mecca yet to score in this ball game. Actually, he's the only guy who has yet to produce para dito sa Cebu. Ito si Brian Mecca. Just 0 of 4 shooting from the field.
15 to shoot.
80 seconds to go here in the third. Adlawan. Back to Brian Mecca. Against JC Marcelino. Entry pass to Dolan Adlawan. Has 4 fouls. He heads back to the line. And he has struggled from that distance. Only 3 of 7 tonight.
2 free throws, Dolan Adlawan.
Dolan Adlawan.
These guys certainly should work on their free throws for the coming games ahead. But I'm sure we're going to see a lot more surprises from their side in the coming days, which I'm very excited to hear
Yeah.
about.
That's the thing that's exciting about this Cebu team. Sino yung mga papasok, no? Dito sa magiging rebranded version nitong Cebu. And, you know, even if they lose this game, they still have that outside shot of making it to the play-in.
For sure. And if they actually do even better than expected or better than what they envisioned themselves to, they might actually get to book themselves a sure playoff spot. And of course, that's gonna take a lot. Pero hindi yan imposible para sa Cebu at this moment.
And you know, just before turmoil happened with this team, they were one of the best defensive teams in the league. They were
The second best.
second best, in fact. But you know, there were things beyond their control, and you know, you just feel for these players na, you know, they take pride in representing this beautiful province. As we have a foul called on Ken Mokol. Free throws coming up again. Baka dito sa Cebu.
Aside from the fact that it's a beautiful province, it's definitely one of the hotbeds of basketball in the country. A lot of prominent names have come from Cebu. And actually, we have a lot of Cebuanos spread out here in the MPBL alone. But of course, a lot of Philippine basketball legends coming out of that beautiful province.
Nolan Adlawan, second guy in double figures with 12 points. Also 4 rebounds. 6 of 11 though at the line. Just 54.5%. 83-56. Ayaay. Skip pass. Tancinco lines it up. Short. Martel with a rebound. 30 seconds to go here in the third. Meneses having trouble. Steal again. Hamito, forward pass. JC Marcelino lost the basketball on his way up.
22 total turnovers right now for Cebu in this game.
Adlawan. He will be tasked to bring the ball down for Cebu. Wala pang field goal ang Cebu dito in this quarter. All 6 of their points came from free throws. Mecca has yet to score. He lost it. Tancinco, a second remaining. Ayaay will not get it off in time. And Cebu held to just 6 points here in the third period after a strong showing in the first half. Highlights of the game brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
Nick Demusis in his return to the MPBL already with a double-double para sa Nueva Ecija. 11 points in 10 rebounds. He has brought in the energy for the Rice Vanguards. It was one of the guys who really ignited that big third quarter run para sa Nueva Ecija. 31-6 against Cebu in quarter number 3.
83-56 at the end of 3 quarters. Nueva Ecija with a 27-point lead. Special deal from 1xBet. Scan a QR code and claim your special offer. Next 3 games at Nueva Ecija. June 30 kalaban ng Muntinlupa Cagers. July 5, Bacolod Tubo Slashers. And then that big time matchup. Oh boy, Javi, this should be a fun one. July 12 kalaban ang Abra Solid North Weavers. Again, special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer.
And if my memory serves me right, it's gonna be a home game, I believe, para sa Abra. Basta either Abra or Nueva Ecija, it's gonna be played in either or's home court. So that's, regardless, that's definitely gonna be a game na dapat abangan natin lahat. I'm sure everybody has that marked on their calendars. July 12.
Yeah. Two of the hottest teams in the league right now. Abra is in the midst of a 12-game winning run. Obviously, Nueva Ecija undefeated, 15-0. Mecca escapes, floats it up. Wala pa rin siyang putos dito. Boy, and also, it comes at a time where both of them, Nueva Ecija and Abra, have beefed up their lineups, Javi.
That's why it's very exciting to see that, considering all the changes that they've made. Of course, Nueva Ecija coming in with JP Calvo and Nick Demusis. Abra, meanwhile, we already saw the announcement earlier today, Jeo Chu joining them to beef up their front line. While we also saw during that last home game of theirs, Simon Camacho was sitting behind the Weavers bench. So I do expect him to be a new part of their team. And I believe there might be another player coming in. I'm just not sure who.
Yun nga eh. Merong mystery player na sasali para dito sa Abra. Abangan nyo yan. Adlawan, relentless. Mecca grabs the offensive rebound. And a little bit out of sorts are Cebu. Another turnover. Leads to more turnover para dito sa Cebu.
It took them that long.
Para dito sa Cebu.
It took them that long. More than 12 minutes.
JC. His shot rolls out. Mecca facing a double team. Release pass to Ken Holmvis, who fires from beyond the arc and rattles it in. 5 straight points for Cebu. 91-61. Tancinco inside, Ayaay, flip shot, no good. Holmvis clears it for Cebu. Holmvis, long free. Back-to-back three-pointers for Ken Holmvis. Third guy in double figures with 12 points. Also 7 rebounds. John Wilson sa bandang kaliwa. Nice bawiin yung tres, short. Mecca tracks it down. Will not force the issue. Pulls it back out to Adlawan. Martel. You could see Coach Paulo Hubalde directing traffic from the sidelines, but those turnovers have been costly against Cebu.
It's really very difficult para sa Cebu to really keep the basketball on their side of the floor, considering wala nga silang true point guard.
Foul number 25, MJ Kagay.
29-point lead. Fast break of the game, at sa atin Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme magpalamig, free installation for split type air conditioners.
And Nueva Ecija has been unforgiving on the defensive end, just really trapping to their heart's content and trying to force a lot of errors on these Cebu players.
Head of Operations, Emereta. Head of Security, Rudy Distrito. You got Joe Ramos and Commissioner Kenneth Turemnes. Mecca committing his first foul. Almost 4 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter. Nueva Ecija in cruise control after a tight first half. And what do you think about the performances in their first games of Nick Demusis and JP Calvo para dito sa Nueva Ecija, Javi?
Demusis has definitely given a lot of energy, especially on the glass para sa Nueva Ecija. JP Calvo, still a little bit of getting used to trying to play with his with his current batch of teammates, but I'm sure the veteran that he is, that he'll be able to adjust eventually.
Brian Mecca finally getting himself on the board with his first 2 points. Demusis with a steal. John Wilson fires. No. Meneses grabs the rebound. For Cebu, no more Jeco Bancale. He is now with Mindoro. And from what I understand, maglalaro na rin yan on Saturday si Jeco. So yun nga, yung inaabangan natin si Cebu, sino yung mga bagong players that could help them revitalize their stint here. Assist of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Well, there is one player that I think ang pinakainaabangan talaga nila eh. And the clue was he's a former UAP champion and former PBA champion as well.
Yeah.
A lot of names come to mind, but if he's coming from Cebu, I think there's one guy that really fits the bill. And he hasn't played yet this season for any team, but he did play last year. Naisip mo ba ako sino?
Napaisip mo, Happy. Oh, Nick Demusis with a strong drive to the basket.
He's had John Hammond's number the entire game.
And they've been going at it from the start.
Great forward pass issued by Kenneth Mocon. You can still see that Demusis still possesses that athleticism.
Yeah.
The control in the air too, also very impressive, finishing through the contact.
London Arenas making his first appearance.
Well, that now signifies that Coach Don Dulay has been able to use all players in his lineup today, all 15 players.
Martel. Meneses, elbow jumper, no. Calvo comes away with it for Nueva Ecija. 97-66. Mocon. Short. Another rebound by Meneses. Jan Hamon contorts himself in midair. Got fouled.
Foul on number 2, JP Calvo.
Calvo commits that foul.
JP Calvo,
Calvo with 5 fouls.
Congratulations, Mr. Calvo. You made it on your first game for Nueva Ecija. Give that guy a diploma.
Jan Hamon at the line. Former EAC General, Jan Hamon. You know, they started this season. Ang dami nilang pyesa sana, Javi, no? They had Ryan Mendoza in there. Yun nga, binanggit ko na, Jeco Bancale, Rashawn McCarthy, Ladis Lepalam, Dennis Santos. And they could have made a deep run here. Although hindi pa naman tapos tong season. And we're saying that because magiging, ano na to eh, retooled na tong roster nito eh. Once the new management comes in full force. But, you know, all they have to do is move forward, and for them, they're set their sights on just getting into the play-in. Brian Mecca, after being scoreless in the first 3 quarters, now has 4 points in the 4th, and a free throw coming up.
I don't think you can keep a scorer as good as Brian Mecca scoreless the entire game, especially if he's managed to play almost the entirety of this match. There's just no way you could keep him off the board.
The Danao City native, Brian Mecca, completes the 3-point play.
At yung maganda kasi dito, Ken, itong bagong chapter that Cebu will flip in its book this season is that mas marami na talagang mga Cebuano ang magre-represent dito sa team na ito. Among the players aside from the players that will be suiting up eventually for this team, I'm also excited to know who is going to be the one calling the shots as the head coach.
Oh yeah.
Dahil I think Coach Mike Reyes might be out of the picture because of his new appointment as FEU's new head of basketball operations, new president of basketball operations. By the way, congrats again, Coach Mike, for that new job. So I still have no news kung sino ang magiging bagong head coach nitong Cebu.
174, 26-point lead. 2 minutes and 46 seconds left. Clark Derrigue. Shot down by Dolan Adlawan. Mocon inside. Meneses with another board. Forward pass broken up by Ryan Costello. Mark Meneses with 10 points and 12 rebounds. I know it's still probably 3 weeks away as Janamon scores another three-pointer. How do you see that matchup play out, Javi? Nueva Ecija versus Abra.
Well, definitely going to be a battle of experience versus youth. But despite the youth, Abra has shown the whole league that their youth is not a disadvantage para sa kanila. And in fact, has been more of an advantage rather than a disadvantage. Because of their youth, they have been able to play fast. They've been able to use different schemes offensively and defensively. And Coach Yong Garcia has come up with some unorthodox ways of coaching this team that has really gained the Weavers a lot of success.
And guys like CJ Austria, Joshua David have been rounding out the form after a slow start and then professional debuts. But boy, David Defonso pretty much scintillating para sa Abra. But of course, Nueva Ecija with a retooled lineup, still undefeated. The Marcelino twins, Robbie Celis in there. As we check out this player of the game, brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Sama mo pa to si Nick Demusis in the equation.
No, he's definitely going to be one of the options for Coach Don Dulay to put on Dave Ildefonso in that game. Demusis possesses the height, he has the speed, and he has that upper body strength to keep it step with a young DI.
And the experience as well.
Correct, of course.
Tres ni Dondon Arenas. Pasok yan. 103 to 78. Because, no, just from my memory bank, parang wala pa nakakalaban si Dave na siguro kasing experience, kasing tatag nito ni Nick Demusis. No, I know he had a hard time against AJ Coronel when they lost to Pasay, but that was a time where he was still trying to adjust to the MPBL brand of basketball. But since that loss, he has been on a tear. And that's a welcome matchup, no? Yung Dave Ildefonso versus Nick Demusis. That block by Clark Derrigue on that Mark Meneses shot.
I'm sorry, I have to correct myself. Hindi pa pala nagamit lahat ng players ng Nueva Ecija dito sa laro na to. Bobby Balocanag still without minutes on the floor in this game.
Arenas, Costello flips it up and in.
But aside from Bobby B, the rest of the team, lahat ng ginamit dito ay nakascore na para kay Coach Don Dulay.
105-78. Hombes can't get that three to go. As Nueva Ecija continues to run. Costello, a short stab, no? 30 seconds remaining. And a rousing debut para dito kay Nick Demusis. Announcing his in this lineup ng Nueva Ecija. 16 wins without a loss. Arenas. Second three-pointer of the ball game for Don Arenas. Adlawan short. And Nueva Ecija will just burn some time here. Our final score, 30 points. After a tough first half, Cebu made a valiant effort, especially with Paulo Hubalde. Unfortunately, got injured late in quarter number 2, and that proved to be the demise para dito sa Cebu. A slow start in the third doomed them, and Nueva Ecija taking care of business, grabbing win number 16 here sa ating liga.
Total team effort. Defense ramped up in that third quarter. They're recognizing their capabilities, just knowing that they cannot stoop down to the level that any other team is playing with right now, because they are the top team here in this league. 16-0 right now after that big win. And a lot of good performers in this game para sa Nueva Ecija, but you gotta give it to this guy. He really brought in the energy. As soon as we felt it, Nueva Ecija started to ramp up its total team play and help them just move away past itong Cebu Classic sa laro na to. Double-double performance para kay Nick Demusis in his Nueva Ecija debut.
Best player of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Final score 108-78. Nueva Ecija winning over Cebu. Let's go courtside to Miss Sydney Crespo.
Thanks, Ken and Javi. Nick, congratulations and welcome back to the MPBL. We talked about the energy, athleticism, and competitiveness that Coach Don needs from you now that you've joined this powerhouse. And that's exactly what you showed us in the third quarter. You helped ignite that spark in the second half.
Yeah, we were dead in the first half. We had no energy, so, Coach kind of gave it to us at halftime. So, like I said earlier, whatever he needs us to do or me. So that's what I did, picked up the energy and just showed some fight, and we went from there.
And that's a double-double performance for you, Nick. Now that you've joined this team and you just earned your first Best Player award, what else are you looking forward in the upcoming games here in the MPBL?
Just to keep on building on this and just keep on going forward. It's, the season's only going to get harder from here. These guys gave us a good run. They had 6 guys, like I said, in the first half. And we just got to get better each game because the main goal is a championship. So,
Nick, is there anyone you want to greet or say thanks to?
Yes, I want to shout out to Boss Bong, Boss Ivan, and Mom Ryan, and my family, my girlfriend Riza, my uncles here, and my kids back home watching. Noah and Bella, I love you guys. Thank you for all the support, and the fans in Nueva Ecija. I hope to see you guys on July 12th against Abra. So, thank you guys.
Thank you so much and congratulations. Once again, Nick Demusis is our best player of the game, brought to us by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Back to you guys.
Maraming salamat, Miss Sydney Crespo. Up next, the San Juan Knights will take on Pasig City. Kaya huwag kayong aalis. Magbabalik ang Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.